Tekken has dropped so much today, and I'm so mad that they dropped so much today while I was at work. Literally, because I work 7 to 3 in the morning. 7 in the morning to 3 in the afternoon, I should say, right? And literally, as I'm leaving out the house and heading to work, I get a notification, Xiao Yu gameplay. I'm thinking, hold the fuck up. Y'all just had June gameplay. Now y'all already got Xiao Yu? I was like, what? I was like, damn, y'all usually be doing like 2 to 3 days and drop the next trailer. They said nope, and then they dropped some hands-on preview and some extra shit, and I was like, whoa, like they in their bag right now. So, the first thing I'm gonna check out is the Tekken 8, the first hands-on preview. I'm gonna go ahead and check this out because I'm very curious to, like, a little bit of the gameplay to see, and I want to just see how it all looks and everything, and wonder. We just hopping on into this. Let's just go.
Growing up as a child of 90s and early 2000s arcades, I've been a casual enjoyer of the Tekken series pretty much all throughout its lifespan, with its cabinets being a regular spot.
Oh, so you can just go into the heat gauge. You saw that? Like,
Enjoyer of the Tekken series pretty much all throughout its lifespan, with its cabinets being a regular spot where I would dump a few quarters, mash some buttons, and walk away with a smile on my face. I've put some time into just about all of them, but never really attempted to learn the deeper complexities of its mechanics, or really sat down to try and become good with a character. That's going to change with Tekken 8 because after spending about 4 hours with it, I'm all in. While I am a self-admitted casual fan of the Tekken series, I have at least dabbled enough into Tekken 7 to be able to talk about the most defining differences between it and Tekken 8. Chief among those changes is the new heat system, which is all about enforcing one of Tekken 8's biggest design goals, rewarding aggression. With the press of a button, a character can use a heat burst to end.
Okay, so you know what I noticed though? So if you use up all of your heat, I'm not sure if like, after a round is over, the heat gauges got restarted, or I don't know how that works. Maybe he'll talk more about that, but I do notice like there's a meter for like the heat system. If it's out, then you can't use it no more and stuff like that. So yeah.
Enter heat mode. The effects of it differ from character to character, but in general, you can view it.
And then you see that line on their health bars. I'm pretty sure like once it hits that line or lower, then that's when your rage art is available for the character. So yeah,
as a limited time state where you're basically better at everything. Certain moves have new properties, others recover faster, making them more advantageous on block, and you gain access to new moves that aren't available.
And then like, okay, so you see how Law had used his heat not too long ago too? Like, look at this.
Where you're basically better at everything. Certain moves have new properties, others recover faster.
So it seems certain characters, certain heat moves, maybe it's like, I don't know, maybe like a heat finisher. If you use the heat finisher, then all of your heat gauge is gone. So I guess in the terms, it's like a can I say like an X-ray? No, not like an X-ray. I'm trying to figure out what's the best thing I could like compare it to say. I don't know, maybe like I don't know, but you get the point. It's just like, yeah, when you go into another state of mind, you have a finisher in that state of mind, yada, yada, yada. I guess. I'm going to just say it like that.
Making them more advantageous on block, and you gain access to new moves that aren't available outside of heat mode. One of the key elements of heat mode is that while it is time limited, with a meter that slowly depletes once activated, you can actually stop that meter from going down by landing attacks. This is just one of the ways that Tekken 8 looks to encourage its players to be more aggressive. Because if you're able to push the pace and land hits while in heat mode, you can keep that state going throughout most, if not all of the round.
That's actually that's interesting. That can basically just lead to more combo potential to do with your heat gauge, because it's like the more you're aggressive, the more you land your attacks, the more aggressive you are while you're in the state of the heat, then the more you keep your heat gauge, which can allow you to do some new stuff while in heat. So yeah, that's interesting. That's interesting. I'm gonna just stay pretty neutral about that because I mean, of course, seeing it and actually playing with it is two different stories.
And if you decide that you instead want to cash out on damage rather than remain in heat mode, you can use a Heat Smash, which is like a mini Rage Art super move that does a large amount of damage but spends the rest of your heat meter.
Yeah, just like yeah.
The heat system goes deeper than that too. In addition to there being a heat meter, there are also these little icons that govern your usage of certain actions while in heat mode. This is called heat energy.
That's a cool stage transition. That was actually kind of cool. Y'all saw that?
It goes deeper than that too. In addition to there being a heat meter, there are also these little icons that govern your usage of certain actions while in heat mode. This is called heat energy. And if you enter heat mode with a heat burst, you'll only get one stock of it. However, if you use what's known as a heat engager, you'll enter heat mode with 2 stocks. These are special moves that, when landed, will instantly put your character into the heat state. Every character has 5 of them, and they're usually a handful of the most defining moves of each character. After you land a heat engager, you can spend 1 stock of heat energy to use a heat dash, which lets you quickly dash in to either connect combos that otherwise could not be connected, or if the heat engager is blocked, you can just get right back up in their face to continue your offense. So let's pause and slow things down as we look at this example between Paul and Jack 8. Paul lands his Phoenix Smasher, which is one of his 5 heat engager special moves. Landing a heat engager gives him a free dash that he can use to get in close, but I actually don't think that this is a true combo. Nonetheless, he lands that cool launcher into throw combo from the trailer. Then he lands another Phoenix Smasher, and when you land a heat engager during heat mode, you're able to use a heat dash to continue the combo. So he spends a stock of heat energy on a heat dash, picks him up off the ground, and finishes with a heat smash. Note that Paul now no longer has any heat meter to work with for the rest of the round. My favorite element of the heat system, though, is how it's used to further define the unique aspects of every character. Each character has at least one completely unique advantage while in heat mode. For example, while in heat mode, King gets armor on his Jaguar run, making him a grappler with an armored command run to get in on opponents.
What?
Kazuya, meanwhile, can execute his iconic electric Wind God Fist technique without having to be frame perfect on the input. What I also love about the heat system is that it's available right at the start of every round. It's not a comeback mechanic, and you don't.
Okay. So that's another thing because I was thinking like, I wonder if every start of the round, you get your heat stuff back.
You don't need to build up a meter in order to gain access to it. You're free to use it whenever and however you please. The already existing comeback mechanic from Tekken 7, Rage, does make a return, with it once again causing a character to go into a rage state once they reach a critical level of health. While in the rage state,
sorry, excuse me. So yeah, basically this whole game's mechanic is gonna really be, at least this whole game, like fighting mechanics and stuff, is for what it looks like, and for what it looks like, is mostly gonna be revolving around using the heat gauge. So I'm not sure if that will be like a little bit. I don't know if that's because I'm still relatively new to Tekken, and I know like there's been, with a lot of the other Tekken games, there's been movement options that's been crazy and shit. So for people who play Tekken way longer than me, I've been playing for like a year, still kind of new, like, is this do y'all think that the heat gauge is more of a nerf or more of a buff to the movement system? At least for what it looks like. I'm not saying playing wise, because of course I get it. You have to play the game and see how it feels. But I'm just saying, from perspective, how does it look to you? Like, does it look like it's a nerf or does it look like it's a buff? I can't say.
Damage increases and you gain access to your ultra powerful Rage Art technique. That said, Rage Drives are a thing of the past.
Jesus, that did damage.
Largely because it's a mechanic that felt redundant due to the addition of the heat state and the advantages it provides. Another brand new element of Tekken 8 is the addition of a special control type, which is Tekken 8's new attempt at making its complex fighting system a little more approachable for newcomers. When in special control mode, each button has a recommended move and combo for each character. There's a button for juggle combos, a button for grounded combos, and a button for quick low attacks. The selected moves even change depending on what state you're in. While this allows new players to compete with more intermediate players in terms of the damage they're able to output, the key thing to keep in mind is that players using the special control scheme only have access to a very small selection of moves.
Now, okay. I'm gonna express my thoughts on how I feel about that. Right, I'm still relatively new to Tekken. Okay, the only Tekken game I ever played is Tekken 7. Okay, and you want to know what I like about Tekken 7? At least personally to me, you know what I like about myself getting into Tekken? First off, getting into the 3D fighter like Tekken like this. This is my first like 3D fighter playing like this. I was scared to know, like, okay, how the heck do these people like be executing these combos, these inputs, and there's a lot of moves on the list, and I'd be like, yo, how do people? I'd be thinking like, do people memorize like all of these moves and stuff? I'd be like, do people use all these moves? I don't know. And I think it got to the point to where I figure out what's the most mandatory moves that I would like to use, and then after that, then you can let your brain process to knowing what this does with this, and then once you start knowing how to like execute combos and stuff, and punishing and stuff, that's where it really gets interesting. Like, see, in Tekken 7, there's an assist feature, and I understand that assist feature by a lot. You know how long it took me to figure out how to get electric wing hook fist? Because I'm a Jin main. You know how long it took me to get the electric wing hook fist command down, even the hell sweep command, but I figured it out how to get it down much easier now. But I feel like at the same time it wasn't like a frustrating to where it's like, oh my god, it's so stupid that I have to do it like this. It was like a frustrating as in, I know I can do this. Like, I feel like Tekken with its combos and mechanics and stuff, it's like, I know I can do this, and once you do it, it feels so satisfying. But in this, because it's a special style, because it says you're limited to some moves, but I feel like, I don't know, I feel like this is, I don't know. I had to just see how it feels when the game come out, because I mean, nothing wrong with making a game easy for new players, of course, to do something to get them in a way to get them into the game, to make it easy for them to start off with, and then sometimes they challenge themselves. You know what I'm saying? So I mean, like me, I always love a good challenge. I always do. But just seeing it like this, I don't know. It looked like this might be too much. So, I mean, I can't say it, but
the most interesting part, though, about the special control scheme, and the thing that really sets it apart from Street Fighter 6's new modern control scheme, is the fact that you can switch between the classic and special control styles mid-match with the press of a button. This makes it actually a fairly viable option for more experienced players as well, as you could be playing the match out in the classic control scheme, suddenly have an opportunity for a big punish, quickly swap to the special control style, and start mashing out a combo without fear of it dropping. It also seems like a great learning tool to be able to quickly jump in with a new character and get a feel for what their moves and combos are going to look like without having to memorize a whole bunch of techniques just to be competitive.
Okay, you know, when I hear that, I don't think that's bad. But personally for me, I can't speak for anybody else, I understand what he's saying. Like, you can switch between the controls, and like, when you're playing a new character, you want to see how this combo works, and if you switch to this control style and you do this, this could work, yada yada yada. I understand that, but and this is personally to me, you might agree with me, you might not. I feel like, especially, in fighting games in general, right? Fighting games, if all fighting games had mechanics like this, what he just explained and stuff, would you, and be honest with me, would you feel more satisfied by getting a very, very stylish, hard-looking combo down by doing all the traditional controls, by mixing the traditional controls with the easier special type controls, or just doing it all with the easiest special type controls? Because I'm going to be honest with you, it feels so much more satisfying when you accomplish something by taking on the bigger challenge. And that bigger challenge is, at least for this case, getting down everything you want to do with the traditional controls. This guy named Devilster, He's a very good Jin player that I see on YouTube. He plays Tekken 7, and oh my god, the things that I've seen this guy do is just holy shit. And he's actually one of the reasons why I kept myself wanting to keep playing Jin, and I learned a lot of things from his Jin that I incorporated to my Jin. But it's just stuff like that that makes it much more interesting, because like once you want to, you know, start executing some combos and stuff, especially for like now that you know how to do back forward 2-1 or back forward 2-3, get the juggle, yada yada. You know, it feels much more satisfying. But I'm just saying off of how I would feel about it and my personal thoughts. So yeah.
Those are all pretty substantial changes, so it's comforting to know that everything else still feels like some good-ass Tekken. In my playtime, I mostly experimented with King, who's just as much of a powerhouse as he's always been. One of my favorite changes to him is that his reverse arm slam combo has been simplified, allowing him to go into the next throw in the chain with a single button press as opposed to a series of inputs that need to be memorized. Now, he still does have the ladder, and those are probably more damaging and harder to break, but as someone who's always loved King, but was always intimidated by all of the commands needed to do a full chain grab combo, I appreciate having at least one that I could easily commit to memory and rely on pretty much from the get-go of learning the character.
Now, I can't speak much of King because I've never played King, and I barely fought any King players, but I don't think I've ever lost to one, though. So, I ain't boasting, I'm just saying.
I want to give a shout out to Tekken 8's command list too, which does a great job of giving extra context to the recommended moves for every character. It told me recommended combos, moves to use that are advantageous on block, what moves will launch an opponent, what to do after launching them, what to do after activating heat mode,
I like that.
And much more.
Now, stuff like that, especially for this game, I like because when I first did Tekken, I didn't know how to launch people, I didn't know how to juggle people, I didn't know how to do that. Stuff like that, I like because it's like, okay, here's some basic stuff we're going to show you. And then once you like figure out that stuff out, I'm pretty sure your mind is going to expand with more ways of how you can launch, how you can juggle, how you can combo, how you can, you know, punish or whatever, how you can execute this command input or, you know, any other stuff.
These move lists are extremely intimidating, with each of them containing hundreds of techniques, and Bandai Namco is really putting in the effort by making them much more user-friendly. After my playtime was over, I left with a renewed enthusiasm to get into Tekken on a more serious level. Tekken 8 looks phenomenal. Its hits feel as impactful as ever, and its iconic cast of characters are even more uniquely defined thanks to the new heat system. There's still a lot we have yet to see, but as far as first impressions go, Tekken 8 is a knockout.
They really...
For more Tekken 8, make sure to check out my interview with Michael Murray and Katsuhiro Harada. And for everything else, keep it here on IGN.
See, yo, like as a Jin player, now this is just me, right? Yo, to all the Jin players, right?
On IGN.
That's his Zen style, right? But the three, that's his 3. Yeah, that's his 3. Did they change his 3 to the, like, so what would be his 3+4? Because the 3+4 is this move until but it seems like, I don't know, unless his Zen style, you can, when you go into it, you could do 1 and then 3+4. That's what it's looking like. Yeah, that's what it's looking like. Like, yo, to my Gen players, like, what do y'all think? You know, like, I know I'm still new, and you know, I'm just, I'm just saying, like, for what I'm seeing and for my knowledge of what I know of. But like, am I tripping? Am I tripping? Because I really feel like either they added that or they replaced the 3. I don't know. I just really want to see more Gen gameplay if we can. Like, if we could see some type of there might be more, because I know there's a lot of Tekken stuff that was uploaded, I'm pretty sure. So I hope I get to see like a little match of like Jin versus Kazi or Jin versus June, Jin versus Lars or whatever. You know what I'm saying? Just some type of Jin gameplay little match that they could show. I know Evil Japan is it's soon, I believe. So I believe they're having a demo. They're gonna have a demo there. So you know, hopefully we can get some videos around then. Like, I would love to check those videos out and you know, see what's going on with, you know, each character. But you know, I think that's pretty much it. That's my little reaction of how I feel about this hands-on preview. The game actually does look dope, but the game also looks like it's very center focused on towards the heat system mechanic, which is interesting. I can't speak too further in about it because I don't know if the heat system mechanic is gonna make the game feel too easy to where it feels boring, or if it feels so interesting to where it really keeps up with wanting to execute and learn new things. I don't know, but other than that, that was my reaction to it. Hopefully you guys did enjoy this, and I'm out of here.